Hello and welcome to my square foot bucket garden. 16 10-inch X-cut flower water buckets in a 4 foot by 4 foot grid pattern. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to dovetail into this video some screenshots from previous videos that will show you how well this vegetable garden has progressed. Check these out, then come back to me. Okay, well I think you'll agree that these vegetables certainly are thriving in these 10-inch water buckets in this square foot bucket garden. But there are some losers. Not everything's a success. There are some winners, there are some losers, and there are some don't knows. I'm going to go around the vegetables now and tell you, in my opinion, if I have a winner, a loser, or a don't know, and I'll explain why. I'm also going to try and get you in a bit closer than this particular shot because I know that some of the vegetables you just won't be able to see them. There's so many of them in such a small space. So I will try and get you in closer, and then we're actually going to harvest some of these vegetables. Okay, so let's start off on the bottom left with this dwarf runner bean. I think that one's a loser. I think the weather's been against it and there's been very few beans on that plant. So I think we have a loser. And I'm actually going to take that bucket out of the grid and replace it with another bucket. Because I can do that, and I can do it quite easily. And that's where the flexibility of these bucket gardens comes in. It's so easy to remove something that isn't working and put something else in its place. These are lettuce, and this is lettuce, and we've had quite a few lettuce out of these two buckets. So this is a win and a win. On the end here we've got a potato. I think it's Celery, which is a red potato, and that's a don't know, because we haven't actually harvested anything from that bucket yet, but that's something I'm going to do later in this video. So this could turn into a win or a lose, but we'll find out at the end of the video. Here we've got some spring onions, can be called termed green onions. We've been eating those, they're definitely a win, and I'm going to be taking some more of those green onions in this video. I've got 4 beetroot in this bucket. I'm quite pleased with those. They look quite good actually, although I've never taken any from the bucket. But we're going to harvest those 4 beetroot from that bucket in this video. 4 leeks, and these 4 leeks are a don't know, because they're too small to harvest, and I don't know how big they'll grow, but if they grow big enough they can turn into a win. But at the moment they're a don't know. Behind those are carrots, and that's another don't know. Too small to harvest yet, but when we do harvest them, I'm hoping that they'll turn into a win. Okay, behind the carrots, that is definitely a lose. That is dwarf broccoli, and before I actually eat any of that dwarf broccoli, it bolted. The florets just flowered immediately, and so that's coming out of the grid pattern. That's the dwarf broccoli. In the middle here, I'm growing something that I've never grown in 10-inch buckets before. I'm growing parsnips, and on the face of it there, those parsnips look really good, but as you know, parsnip tends to be quite a long vegetable, and these buckets are only 10 inches deep. So again, that's a don't know, and we don't know until we harvest, but I'm hoping I can turn that into a win. These are onions. There are 4 onions in this bucket, and all 4 onions have bolted. I think you can see that seed head. I hope you can see that seed head. See if I can... Oops. There it is. I'll be taking that seed head off later. I've already taken 3 seed heads off. I'm just going to leave those onions in that bucket and see how much onion we can get out of them at the end of the season. But I suspect that'll be a loss. In back here is some wild strawberries. I don't know if you can remember, I got those from the garden. I just transplanted them into that water bucket, and we've had a lot of wild strawberries from that plant. That's definitely a win. Right in behind the wild strawberries, some celery, and that celery is looking really good, although I must say that I have had celery go to seed, celery that's bolted in the raised beds, but up to press, this celery is looking okay. There are 4 heads in there, and I'm hoping to turn that into a win. Okay, in behind the onions there are some chives. You might be able to see the flowers. You might actually be able to see Molly as well now, I'm not sure. But the chives are okay. Yeah, they're a win, and we've been eating those chives for quite some time now. And on the other side of the celery, we've got mint in a bucket, and that's another win. We've been eating mint, but I mean, how much mint do you eat? How much chives do you eat? But it's provided mint, and we've had chives all year from these 2 buckets. So there's 2 wins. Now right in back, standing up, I hope you can see this, there is some Swiss chard. Unfortunately, the Swiss chard is bolted. We've had some Swiss chard, but not much, and now it's bolted. So I'm going to put that one down as a lose, only because it's bolted. If it hadn't bolted, it grew really well, and it was nice, but it bolted. That's another bucket that's going to be leaving the square foot bucket garden. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove those buckets that we're going to be harvesting from, and while I do that, you check out these close-ups that I took earlier, then come back to me, by which time we should be set up and ready to harvest some vegetable from this square foot bucket garden. These are the vegetables we're going to be taking. We're going to take some green onions, some spring onions. We're going to take a lettuce. We're going to take 4 beetroot, and we're going to take this potato in this bucket here. So we're harvesting 4 different vegetables from the square foot bucket garden. I'll just clear 3 of these out of the barrow and then we'll make a start. Okay, so first up are the spring onions. We're going to take a small bunch of spring onions from this bucket. We're going to tidy them up and show you them later, but we're going to do that with all the vegetables. So let's see if these guys will simply pull. Yes, they will. Okay. It's a nice bunch of green onions, nice bunch of spring onions. I'll tidy those up. I'll let you have another look at them with the rest of the veg back in this barrow. Okay. We're going to take this iceberg lettuce. There are some smaller lettuce still in this bucket that I started to plant as I was taking these lettuce out. Let's see if we can get this one out without disturbing the smaller ones. Oh yes, so this bucket goes back into the square foot bucket garden for these lettuce to grow on. Hey, how easy is that? How easy is that? Okay, we'll tidy this up, we'll bring it back. Okay, 4 beetroot grown in a bucket. We're going to take the lot. I'll tell you now that I actually have another bucket sown with beetroot, much smaller than this, and that will go into the raised bed bucket garden, and nothing gets disturbed. Nothing gets disturbed in that bed, and that's the beauty of this bucket garden. No other vegetable gets disturbed. There is no root disturbance for any other vegetable. Hey, it's a nice wee beetroot, isn't it? And this soil, by the way, will be recycled. Nothing gets wasted at homegrown veg. This soil will overwinter, broken up but back in the bucket, with a chop and drop of seaweed and leaves and grass on top of it. Wow, this is a biggie. Hoo, hoo, hoo. That is a big beetroot, blimey. The size of that. That's a big boy. Okay, just a potato to do. That is a whole lot of beetroot from a small 10-inch water bucket. That's a winner, isn't it? That's a winner. Just this potato to do now. I don't know what to expect here, so I'll let you decide whether this is a winner or a loser once we see what's inside the bucket. Okay, as you can see, the bottom leaves are starting to yellow, so it's about finished. And I think Celery is a redskin. I think it's a redskin. What do you think? So far so good. Just pop these in here, I think, and then we'll put them back. And remember, this square foot bucket garden potato has been harvested without disturbing anything else in that bucket garden. That's the magic. That's the magic. What do you think? Was that worth doing? One went in. What do you think? Is that a win? I think it is. Don't you? Right. I'm going to wash these, tidy them up, tidy the other veg up, bring it back in the barrel, let you have one last look. We've got some Swiss chard. We've got some beetroot. We've got a head of lettuce. We've got some green onions. And we've got some potatoes. Come on. How good is that? 10-inch water buckets in a grid pattern to make a square foot bucket garden. How good is that? No other vegetable disturbed. No disturbance at all. And those buckets that I've taken out today will be replaced with other buckets that have vegetables growing in them. And now look at this. Small potato for Molly. I can't give her it because she's gone indoors. It's been far too hot today for Molly. She's gone indoors. But she will get that. I'll take that in with me when I take this veg indoors. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this square foot bucket garden update. And I hope I can do one or two more before the season's out. Those carrots will need to be harvested at some time. I'm looking forward to the parsnips, because I've never grown those in 10-inch buckets before. I don't know what to expect there. And I'm looking forward to harvesting that celery as well. So there's lots to look forward to in the square foot bucket garden, and I will share my results with you. Winners, losers and don't knows. You'll see the lot. Okay, so this is Homegrown Veg signing out.